Hello everyone, Editor Ben here with a quick content warning for this episode. We didn't think to give one in the original recording, but I think it is probably warranted. This book deals with one of the main characters being a survivor of sexual assault. To be quite honest, the handling of it is maybe not the best, and that's something that we have to talk about in some detail, not graphic detail, but if that sounds like something you'd rather pass on, totally understand. Just wanted to give everybody a heads up that would be coming. And with that said, if you choose to listen to the show, I hope you enjoy it.
Sexy words about books. Fuck yeah.
That's
it.
Actually,
that's it. That's our
that's
opening.
Actually
it's
the opening.
It's marked, but again, this time it's called Claimed. Boy, did I not like that at all. It's great. How's it going, Ben? Oh, yeah. Sarah, fine. I'm Nate. Yeah. Whatever.
What the fuck are you doing? This has got to be the worst opening you've ever done. We are covering a book today called Claimed, which is part 2 of the Servants of Fate series.
Marked part 2, that's what we know it as. You remember Marked, Ben?
Yes, but nobody else does, so I'm trying to bring that back for them. Servants of Fate series by Sarah Fine.
Okay. You got me so far.
All right. Now, a long time ago, back when we were just starting Words About Books, didn't really know what the show was going to be, we read a book called Marked. You somehow had a book called Marked on your Kindle.
Don't ask me how, because I don't remember.
It pegged itself as an entry in the paranormal romance subgenre.
It's not the only thing that was getting pegged, if you know what I mean.
And I don't know how you came to have it, but essentially what this book is, I'm going to do a very quick recap of Mark.
Yes, please do. What do you remember about Mark?
Yeah. So I'm going to do a very quick recap of Marked. If you want the full story of Marked, go back and listen to our episodes on it. Few have. I think right now, Marked Part 2 is sitting at like 45 downloads or something. This was not one of the better.
World. It was a pre-Dune world.
This was a pre-Dune world, yeah. Yeah, so there's a whole lot about Marked. Oh my god, over 2 years ago. Okay. Marked. So, first thing you gotta know, the setting. It's the future, like 2100. Global warming has ravaged the Earth. Most of the major cities in the United States are desolate wastelands and or brackish, hellish swampland. The only place that doesn't suck are the mysterious Arctic colonies, which are seceding from Canada.
Take that, unsighted. Not so high and mighty now, are you?
Our story will follow Eli, an EMT, who is moving with his sister from the absolute worst place on earth, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, garbage place.
Which I took great offense to. They're moving to the relative paradise of Boston, Massachusetts.
Go Patriots! Said no one ever.
Yeah.
Patriots can suck my dick. Anyway, go on.
So they're moving to Boston, Massachusetts, relative paradise, because Eli's sister, Galena, is a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, rape victim. She's not a playboy. I lied about that part. She is a rape victim. And that doesn't have much to do with the story, but it's going to come back. So Eli continues to be an EMT in Boston, where he runs into Cassia Ferry, henceforth known as Casey. Casey is of the richest family in Boston, the fairy family. Now, not spelled like Fairy, as you might expect a paranormal supernatural romance featuring people in Boston of a primarily Irish descent to be. The mythology we're dealing with here is not going to be Irish or Celtic. It is Greek.
Greek but with a dash of Christianity, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, but all the people involved are Irish. So just keep that in mind. And so the fairies, here's what they do. They ferry people to the afterlife. And their boss is called Charon, like the boatman of the river Styx.
Like an aging boomer, a real Charon.
Boo! You stink!
That was a reach, but you got there in the end. Here's how this works. When somebody dies, they're marked. They're marked for death. They can't die unless they're marked. They are marked.
Very important.
By a Care?
Yeah, I think he said it was Kier.
Kier.
And they
Plural
come in, they touch you. They physically have to touch you to mark.
Yeah, and they get to choose how you die, Death Note style.
Yes.
I'm guessing she had just read Death Note.
It is interesting because you think that how they die is fate, but we'll talk about that later. So yeah, they touch you, you get marked, and then you die, and then what?
And then a fairy comes to ferry your soul to either heaven or hell. Now, sometimes a soul will see that they're going to hell, kick the fairy in the balls, and run away.
And another important note, if you're an important character, your soul will go somewhere that was important to you in life. And if you're just a guy who's dying, your soul will just hang out where you died, because you're not important.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. So
I never forget, Ben.
So when the ferrying of the soul is done, a gold coin will pop out. That gold coin must then be bitten in half by the Kier, who has demon teeth, and then it's split. And so this is how the fairy family got so rich. Because they're the only ones that could do this. There's like 50,000 of them. They're
there's 50,000 of them, and there's 50,000 Kiri. There's way too many people.
There's 50,000 Kiri, Nate, and not a goddamn one of them is named Aaron. We'll get to that.
There's 100,000 people responsible for marking people for death and ferrying them along the way in this post-apocalyptic world where most of the planet is uninhabitable.
I did a lot of math about this. If you want to hear about it, check out Bad Faith Criticism Corner, Season 1, Episode 17. Okay. Now, we gotta move this along. Okay, so Casey and Eli hook up, and there's a lot of like, oh, I don't want to get mixed up with the richest family in Boston. I'm just trying to keep a low profile. I'm big tough man, Eli. Turns out Eli, when his sister got raped, Eli was beaten literally to death and then revived. And he then went and killed all of the rapists.
And that he's ashamed was something that was bad?
Yeah, he's ashamed of doing that, but, like, I don't think he is. And I'm not ashamed of him for doing it.
Yeah, exactly. You did a service to this shitty post-apocalyptic world, bro.
There's this whole big thing going on of his sister Galena. She's mixed up in a whole big conspiracy here. See, she's a genius, and she's working on an everything vaccine. It is a vaccine that will make the human body capable of fighting off all diseases. Somehow.
Yes, and as we established, you could die by just falling in the water that is coursing through this city of Boston. Because exposure to it for even a moment can kill you.
Not 1 ounce of fairy gold has been invested in desalination or water treatment, but they are pouring funding into this everything vaccine.
Not all of them, Ben. Some of them really don't like that this everything vaccine's gonna be a thing.
That's right. And so that's where the tension comes in. So a lot of people are trying to get rid of Galena because she's going to make an everything vaccine, and then people will only die of
Everything
old
else.
age, cancer, the incredibly violent world, malnutrition, the
This
toxic
is a world
environment.
that can barely grow any agriculture or raise any real meat, and there's just like
Canal pirates.
canal pirates that sail on toxic sewer water.
Organ harvesting canal pirates. Whenever the EMTs go out to a call, they have to be prepared to fight off pirates who are there to harvest the organs of the people who were injured.
To sell them to who? We don't know. We don't
And
understand.
presumably EMTs in this world are not paid much more than they make in this world. And I don't know if anybody knows that, but like EMT is not a well-paid
No, you
position.
don't get
These
paid
people make like
shit.
maybe like 35, 40 grand a year, maybe. So it's, yeah, I don't imagine any of them are fighting off canal pirates to save you at those wages.
Yeah, fuck that.
But Eli and Casey do. And so they have a whirlwind, explicitly erotic romance. There is a lot of vivid descriptions of the human labia. Moving along.
Oh god, I remember the pink curtains. Oh god.
pink
Oh,
curtains.
it's so gross. Oh
Yeah.
god.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, the whole book is so Casey's dad is the Charon. So he steps down from the position, gives it to his oldest son Ryland, and then he mysteriously gets assassinated like that very same night. And someone is clearly making some plays in the background, and there's all this intrigue. But all Casey and Eli can think, because every other chapter is from the other person's perspective, right? They bounce back and forth. All they can think of, God, he could never love me because we're from two different worlds. He's such a strong man, but he could never love me.
I wonder if he'd pour synthetic chocolate called mocklet all over my body.
Yeah. And Eli's like, she could never love me. Gosh, she's like a princess here, and I'm just a poor kid from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And I want you to keep in mind, presumably she has a Boston accent.
Presumably, yes.
Presumably.
And-
Like, no one with a Boston accent has ever been thought of as a princess.
Okay, that's fair. That's very
Revenge
fair.
for Pittsburgh.
So, the entire story is just about them, like, let's...
Yeah, it's about them hooking up, and Casey's
in the
made the
background,
executor.
there's like a story that they're not participating in.
So the background of the story, like the plot, the intrigue, and everything, is that Casey is made the executor of her father's will, and that is like a weird move, because there are a lot of other people much better qualified to handle the complicated business of finishing his affairs than Casey.
Literally anyone.
Yeah, but for some
Literally,
reason,
just pick a cousin at random from the family. They would do a better job.
but we find out it's because her dad was a big proponent of Galena's research. He wanted to do something really good for humanity before he died. Also, he was kind of selfishly trying to get into heaven because that's where his wife went. And so I don't know if doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, like it was purely selfish motivation,
You could
but
trick
like
God in this
yeah,
world, okay?
God's pretty damn stupid in this world.
Or God's just not paying attention. God has to act through like 50,000 keepers who all have 50,000 Kiri and fairies, and you know, like the whole, maybe God is just like the CEO of a company that's just way too large, and
We can't focus anymore on the lore. So
that'll come later.
we find out that Casey's dad made her the executor because he's trying to protect Galena, and he knew that of all the people, she would do the right thing because there's a financial motivation to kill Galena. Because apparently, incorrectly, they have calculated that if Galena invents this everything vaccine, people won't die as frequently, and the fairies and the Kiri won't make as much money.
Eli is marked. I think they find this out right after he hooks up with Casey for the first time. he's marked. And she's like, oh god, you're marked. We'll go to Ryland's office in the fucking Psycho Palms building. I hate that name. We'll go there. It's the safest place ever. And then the Chinese food delivery man blows Eli away with 1 billion bullets.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I only remember it because of your description.
I forgot that they called their... Okay, so it's also supposed to be a big secret that everybody is like a fairy. Like they're secret paranormal people, but they named their mysterious business that, as near as I can tell, just deals in gold coins, presumably with God's fucking face on them. Psycho Pumps Inc. And no one is ever suspicious. All that happens. So Eli's dead, but then there's a sexy evil guy called Moros who's like in charge of the Kiri, and the Kiri are bad because they kill people, I guess, but like everybody kills people. And
yeah, but they enjoy it, Ben. That's the difference. If they were sad about it, it would be okay.
Yeah, I bet those fairies are real fucking sad all the way to the bank. Anyway, so Eli becomes a Kier, and now he's like an immortal monster, and he's like, Casey could never love me, and so we're going to do that again.
They reset it back to 0 after they finally hook up. He's like, I'm a monster, she could never love me. And I was just yelling like, God damn it, stop it. They do that in this book too, to a lesser degree. Go on.
Yada yada. It turns out that the chief fairy, Ryland, is behind the whole thing. He's the secret bad guy. And 2 characters we haven't even thought to mention because they're barely mentioned in the story are the ones who solve that mystery and save the day.
Yeah, you're supposed to think that Casey's older sister Aslan is the villain because she's cold-hearted. What the fuck ever, Ben? She can spell it correctly then, all right? Anyway, she and to a lesser extent Casey's other brother, Deck, solve the mystery off screen that Ryland is in fact the villain. Who would have seen that coming? He's the only other named character. And it's very obvious that you're supposed to think it's someone else. And yeah, they stop a rogue Kier. Casey gets beaten up over and over again throughout the novel, and they all save the day, right? Except I guess Galena is traumatized, and Eli's like, I gotta go fuck Casey now. Deck, can you watch over my traumatized sister who is probably reliving every terrible moment in her life right now? And he's cool with it. And then at the end, Moros is like, the fabric of fate is coming undone. If Galena dies, like, fate will cease to exist, or reality will, or I'm not sure about that, but
I think
Galena's
it'll tear reality apart.
Yeah, Galena's a big deal.
And Ashland becomes CEO, and Charon, that's important.
Yeah.
And Deck is falling in love with Galena. That was the world's worst recap. I have no idea how I'm going to edit that together. Now, you might be asking yourselves, sounds like you guys didn't like this book. Why are we doing this?
Patreon didn't even vote on this one.
Yeah. So here's the thing, guys. We had not yet read a lot of like really bad books when we read Marked. And I felt for a long time like we were a little hard on Marked. I think we were unprepared. We were young bookmen. The level of, I'm just going to call it what it is, pornography in the book was more than we were prepared for. We were giggling at the vivid descriptions of human anatomy. Sometimes the comedically weird comparisons to objects she made. And
it still gets me.
It is funny. It's admittedly very funny. She did less of that in this book. But it kind of lived rent-free in my head. Like, I kind of wanted to know, but what about the fabric of fate? Like, what? Is it going to come apart? I don't know. And so we were very hard on it. And over time, I realized, like, Seraphine is published through a publisher. She has an agent and all that stuff, but
Oh my god.
still basically indie. I mean, I don't think this is her day job or anything.
No, she's a psychologist. We're kindred spirits, Ben. We work in the same industry, and also I'm also writing an erotica. I don't know why I said also twice.
You did become Sarah Fine.
Yeah, I did.
You're the poor man's Sarah Fine.
Yeah, I'm a less successful Sarah Fine.
Yeah. Maybe that's another reason we're doing this. Anyway, I wanted to know what happened. I've been thinking about this book since we first read it. We were kind of wondering what we would do to finish out November and start December.
November.
Yeah. And we didn't realize that was going to be the theme of November when we started this, but here we are. So is Claimed part 2 of the Servants of Fate series. Thank you to the 10 people who are still listening. So let's start talking about Claimed. Claimed picks up right after Marked. Basically, our point of view characters this time, I did not realize this was going to be the case.
I did not know that either. I was going to ask you if you thought that this would happen.
No, so I was expecting to continue following Eli and Casey. I thought they were going to be the main characters of the series. I don't know if I want to say never, but I cannot think of another series that drastically shifted perspective each book to people who are in like totally different circumstances. I know Game of Thrones shifts around who is and is not a POV character,
well,
but usually
it's been confirmed. Sarah Fine is just like George R.R. Martin. This is the next Game of Thrones.
She writes much faster than George R.R. Martin. So, yeah, the new point of view characters are going to be Dec and Galena, because we're also going to need a new romance.
Yeah, I wondered how they could continue this. I actually thought it was going to be Casey and Dec, Jesus Christ. Casey and Eli getting into some sort of weird misunderstanding and doing the same fucking thing from the first book. Having to fall in love all over again.
I kind of wondered if they were going to do some sort of like them as a couple against the world thing. I don't know what I thought was going to happen. I did not expect Galena to be the main character, because Galena and Dec, of all the characters introduced in Marked, have almost no personality. In Marked, Dec is Eli's boss and Casey's brother, and that is his personality. We have no idea what he likes, what he's into, what his motivations are. I think we do know that his dad told him to protect
Galena.
He doesn't know why, but watching her recover from being violently assaulted by his sibling has really enamored him. And he's gonna try to date Galena. And he's a little awkward. I should mention, fairies are essentially immortal. They can heal from anything, literally anything. If they're like Cell. If there's one tiny piece of them left, they'll come back.
But only in this world. See, if they're in the Veil, which is the world of spirits, they don't heal, but they're still immortal. So if you rip them into tiny, tiny pieces, they're presumably still somehow alive, but they don't heal. So they're just like a pile of living goo.
They can't be marked, so anyone who is not marked cannot die. No matter what grievous injury befalls their body.
If you fall into a volcano and you're not marked, you're just gonna be alive in agony forever.
I think you'll even burn, but your molecules will retain the ability to suffer.
Yeah.
So, Galena is also becoming somewhat enamored with Dec. Here's the problem.
What's her personality from the first book, Ben?
She is
fragile.
A fragile waif.
She's the thing that you protect in the escort mission.
Yes, she embodies innocence. She loves science and helping people, and she's afraid and hurt and traumatized, and that's kind of all there is to her. Both of them have big NPC energy. I think we both were going to use the exact same word to describe them.
Yes.
They are not
the main characters. Yeah. And neither were Casey and Eli, to be fair. They didn't do anything to solve their
Casey
story.
and Eli were a hot mess.
Casey and Eli were like from a different story. Deck and Galena are from this story, but they're unimportant like side characters. The third book has the real protagonist of Jason Moros, the leader of the Curie, and Aslan, the Kara.
It's Ashlyn. I don't know why this is so weird to you. Galena is now being protected by both sides of the supernatural equation. Moros has Kiri protecting her, and Ashlyn has Psychopomp security protecting her. So the Kiri are watching over her from the spirit world, and the security are watching over her in the physical world. And she's got to get back to work.
And she's perfectly protected. No one can get to her.
Yeah, the first thing we realize is that she is deep in her trauma.
She very much is displaying Sarah Fine's profession when she talks about how that trauma is just neurotransmitters, and that's what all my thought is, and I just have to get back into my work and drown the trauma away.
Yeah, she's trying to distance herself from her body. She's trying to say that, obviously it's not real, it can't hurt you, which is not going to work, as we all know. She was doing pretty well before, but then she was attacked again, and now she has to be guarded constantly, reminding her that she was attacked. And so she's just trying to get back to work. When she gets back to work, the first day, there's her lab assistant's acting really weird. And he's super nervous, and he's playing with all these parts, and he's like, this machine's broken again. And she's like, why don't you take the day off? And he looks at her and he's like, what, really? And she's like, yeah, get on out of here. And so he leaves. And he was really weird. He was conspicuously weird.
Really strange. Like
if there was a bombing in the next couple pages, I'd be wondering if that dude did it.
I was going to say, his reactions to her are also really strange.
And so Dex shows up at her lab, and he's like, I brought you a salad. Have you eaten?
That's not true. And he brought her Chinese food. Real Chinese food. He buys her so much food, Ben. So much real food.
I'm going to look this up. I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong, Ben. Okay, it's probably not Chinese food, but it is a bunch of food. It's not just a salad.
Hang on.
No, someone brings Chinese food to Ryland. Wait, no! Hold on. Szechuan noodles.
Say that again?
Hold on. Some of the food she's only ever seen in image files: plump little tomatoes, emerald green peppers, shiny black olives, crumbly white cheese, da-da-da-da-da.
This sounds like a salad.
It sounds like a salad, but hold on. I think... Let's see.
Right. Where's his cheese?
Accepted the bag, sealed container full of real lettuce, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I accepted the bag and peeked inside to see a sealed container
full
full of real lettuce surrounded by... It's a fucking salad!
Is there not... Okay, hold on. I swear,
Eli takes her to a Chinese place.
He gave me real meat or something, and then later on,
she is, but it's a salad.
Meat. He traveled all the way from Chinatown to check in.
Okay.
Meats and cheeses, various meats and cheeses. Okay.
You can put meats and cheeses on a salad.
No, Ben. Then it's a sandwich without bread. You don't get to pretend like you're eating a healthy thing of veggies.
Tell me you're from the Midwest without telling me you're from the Midwest.
All right, pro tip, guys. Don't bring your girl salad. Or if you're gonna bring a salad, A, make sure that's what she likes, and B, give her some other options too. Maybe she doesn't want a shitty salad today. Maybe she wants a delicious roast beef sandwich. Or like a delicious burger. Or a pizza. But fine. It's a salad. Also with meat and cheese. Bullshit.
That's how most salads are.
Yeah. Most bullshit salads, Ben. Be a man.
Anyway. I don't
Eat
like
your veggies.
the world building in the Servants of Fate series has always been terrible. And I'm going to continue with that by saying that it's really weird that they're like, oh my God, all this salad stuff must have been shipped in from the Arctic Circle colonies. And it's
or
like
grown in a secret agri-lab.
Yeah, but then presumably sold at a restaurant where he got it.
No. That's not how this works, Ben.
Anyway.
Again,
so
you're a billionaire and you're spending top dollar on a goddamn salad and some hot water.
I don't think anyone's disputing that the world sucks.
Yeah, but you're a mega trillionaire. If you're the head of the fairy family, what are you doing? Why haven't you at least cleaned the shit out of the water that you routinely have to drive through every day?
You do know that in the real world that presumably inspired Servants of Fate, Elon Musk just spent $44 billion destroying Twitter.
Yeah, he did that. But he didn't spend $44 billion on not a salad.
Right, but like if the world was left in the hands of people like Elon Musk, it would very quickly look like this.
Well, Ben.
And it's not about living comfortably.
He's a job creator, except in the case of Twitter. He's a job creator, so he doesn't have to pay his fair share. Isn't that the argument?
I don't know. I don't talk to Republicans.
Oh, God.
Anywho, so
all right.
Glenn is given Deck a tour of her lab. There's a little bit of chemistry between the two of them.
And it's weird because, like, he's not thinking about her rockin' tits or whatever Eli did in the first book towards Casey. He's like, wow, she's got a nice smile. She's really smart. I'm kind of into this. Like, she's got an interesting personality, kind of, like...
No, I kind of was wondering about what the Seraphine oeuvre looks like. Almost everything she writes is a series. And so I was kind of wondering if this is, like, typical for her. If in the Servants of Fate series, each book is going to explore a different sort of relationship. So like with Eli and Casey, it's the fast, instant attraction, sex
like a
having
drug, basically.
Yeah.
I need
it's
to
just
get more
really
Casey
like
because I'm going into withdrawal.
Yeah, it's super passionate. I'm being charitable, you're being uncharitable. But
so what's the third book going to be? It's between Moros and Ioswin. So
but I think the third book is going to be, it's obviously going to be Moros and Ashlyn, and so that's going to be like the business lady romance, where two people at the top of their careers both have to get together and hide the romance because the board would never approve.
Okay, all right, I see what you're putting down here.
Yeah,
we can't be friends. This is strictly a business transaction. We are giving genitals to one another for exactly 30 minutes, maybe a little less, and then we are going to each clean ourselves up and go our separate ways. And then they do a firm handshake to conclude that this is how they are going to do. Well, what am I talking about, Ben? Why?
I don't know why you're asking me what you're doing.
We're 41 minutes in. We're on chapter 1 or 2.
I've been just waiting for you to finish talking so that I could continue the summary. Okay, so they're walking around the lab. They're having a little fun almost date moment. Deck's thinking about maybe I'll ask her out. And then it all blows up. They're like running from the explosion like action movie heroes, but Deck realizes they're not going to make it. So he grabs Galena.
Before that, her test subjects all start dying. One
Yeah,
by
I was going
one.
to say, who the fuck cares?
But they're so
And
important, Ben. Now they're dead.
so Deck protects her with his body from the
His
explosion,
muscular, ripped body. Yeah. Yeah.
and they both wake up back at Psycho Pomps Inc.
Boo.
There's a little meeting where Ashlyn and Moros are like, we're going to double the security and we're going to try to figure out what the fuck's going on here. Because obviously no one had marked Galena, but they can still destroy Galena's brain and thus destroy the vaccine. And it's not so much that Galena's important to the fabric of fate, it's that vaccine. We need an everything vaccine or the world falls apart. So we have to figure out what's
falls
going
apart
on.
worse than it already has, you mean? Like, the environmental collapse that happened decades before this, that wasn't the tipping point. It's Galena.
Yeah, obviously.
They're all in a meeting. It's Ashlyn, Deck, Casey, Eli, Galena, and Moros. And they're like, what are we gonna do to protect Galena because she could still get got? And Casey's like, oh, I know. Galena could just be a fairy. Easy. All she has to do is marry into the family. It's real simple.
I did forget that Casey was a master negotiator. That's something you have to like. I didn't highlight that in the first one, but Casey always has the best ideas.
So first, Galena needs to marry someone. No problem. She can marry... I'm going to look around the room real quick. It's not Eli, that's her brother. Not Ashlyn, obviously. She's a woman. I don't think that fairies are into that sort of thing. Moros is a cure. How about Deck? You marry Deck. No problem. So,
You marry
marriage...
Deck and you become a fairy.
Marriage to a fairy is real simple, right? Just like, real easy. First... you get a sick back tattoo that also has the blood of the one who's claiming you. See, you got that.
Real Machine Gun Kelly, Megan Fox move there.
Yeah, and then, and this is it's a real important part. This is where a lot of the drama comes in. You gotta get the magic dick in you. You gotta both reach climax. Because that's the only way you can get that immortality. God does not want an unconsummated marriage. So, like, oh, shit, I just realized she's a victim of sexual assault.
Yeah, Casey did know that when she suggested this.
Yeah, she's a victim of sexual assault and doesn't even know my brother, and I basically just volunteered the two of them to be bound both in, like physically, but also their souls will be bonded and also their genitals will be bonded.
Yes, and Deck, appreciating the severity of the situation, stomps out of the room knowing that knowing that they're going to be putting her through quite a bit, and he doesn't want to be the one to put her through quite a bit. And then, of course, they start doing this thing, which I always roll my eyes at, which is he stomps out of the room and Galena's like, oh, does he not want me?
He doesn't like me. They did that a lot in the first book, too. Oh, I see. He's only actually... He does obviously agree to it. Oh, he's only agreeing to this because his dad told him to protect me. This is just a duty for him. He's having sex with me and bonding our souls together out of duty, I guess.
Okay, yes. Yes, he is. That's why this is happening right now. Yes. It's what you agreed to as well. The only reason you are both here is because you're trying to become immortal. That's the goal. It is a nice bonus that you both love each other, and this is going to work out anyway. It's just happening a lot faster than either of you intended, and I like that. I do like that part of the romance. But it was funny to me when she's like, oh, he's only doing this for, like, practical reasons. And it's like, yeah, that's why you're both here. But we'll get more into that as it goes back and forth throughout the book. I will say They don't do it to the annoying degree that they did it in Marked.
Absolutely. It is a huge improvement over everything Marked did, basically.
Yeah, Galena, like, the refreshing thing about this romance is that these two talk to each other.
Yes.
She harbors these doubts, but then pretty quickly she expresses them, and he is like, oh, no, that's not what that was about. It was more about, like, I know what you've been through. I know that I don't want you to resent me because of the role I have to play in this. And they go back and forth. It's a much sweeter romance than Marked. Where Marked was, like I said, charitably, it's all passion, it's all sex. It is two hot people.
No one talks to each other.
Yeah, it's just two hot people who speak with they can only communicate via horizontal mambo, you know?
Oh, yeah, also, Len, the would-be rapist and attempted murderer, got transferred out. For anyone who's paying attention from Marked.
Yeah, for big fans of Words About Books, I know you wondered probably what happened to Len. The goon of the previous book.
So that's what we set up, and now we can go to the exploded lab if you want.
They go to the exploded lab, and they find that Galena's boss is okay. More than okay.
She's kind of being like a jerk, almost.
Yeah, she's kind of like, Galena, how about you go? How about you go and you don't leave town, though.
Wow, Galena, you seem very stressed out. You seem like you're maybe a little unhinged. You have been working a lot lately. Maybe we just put you on indefinite leave for now. You know? Maybe we do that. Galena. I'm not saying you had anything to do with this, but I am saying the police will be asking you questions, okay?
I'm not saying you had anything to do with this, but I am saying I told the cops you did.
That is accurate.
So they go back to, I think, do they go back to Deck's house first?
Yes, they do the ritual first before the detective comes along.
Yeah, okay. So then they go back to Psychopomps Inc. They do the tattoo ritual.
Remember
where the
when
one
we
character
used to script stuff?
Did you want to script this?
Hell no. Let's go. Anyway.
I've replaced scripting with editing. I go back and post and make it look like we knew what we were talking about. I can tell you right now, we're 51 minutes into this recording, but we are 30 minutes into the episode.
Oh, all right.
So the ritual. Let's talk about the ritual. There's one character in this book that definitely needs a spinoff. Seraphine, I know you've been done with this series for years
Irish
at this
man
point.
Alive?
Yes. Is his name literally Seamus?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you. So this dude walks in, right? And Galena's all nervous because she's a rape victim and she's dealing with this trauma. She's about to have a sexual encounter for the first time since the trauma. And she's just like worried about being hurt and like, is this gonna like be painful and all this stuff? And Seamus wheels in with his magical cart. And he's this grizzled old Irish man. And he is the designated fairy tattoo artist. And he's like, so, who's getting married today? And they're like, you and you. And he's like, awesome. And he pulls out a knife and she winces. And he's like, shut up, it's not for you. Get on the table. And then he's like, you, get in the chair. And he has Dex slice his wrist open and he mixes the blood in with the magic ink and it starts glowing. And then he starts tattooing.
He's like, all right, no more talking out of this guy.
Yeah, he's like, you, shut up. And Eli gets mad and he's like, you want to go? You want to fight me?
No, Eli shuts up. He knows.
Yeah, no.
He knows. Yeah, no,
he's
not.
He ain't
fuck
gonna.
With this guy.
You don't tussle with Seamus. He's got an uppercut
until the fourth book, in which case someone will tussle with him, but in a very sexual way.
The fourth book punched the Seamus story. No, but that's what I was going to say. Is Sarah fine? I know you've been done with this series for years, but if you could just give me like a Seamus short story or something, like if you can just give me, I just want Seamus to get with some grizzled old Irish lady who runs a pub and doesn't take anyone's shit. That might be my marked fan fiction. Chasing Seamus. Okay. Yeah, I love Seamus. He just comes in there, he tells everybody to shut the fuck up. He tattoos a beautiful raven on this woman's back, and then he's like Seamus is done, Seamus out. And then he just wheels his cart away.
Or whatever, bye.
Yeah, Seamus doesn't stick around to find out what these people's problem is. Seamus has shit to do. Oh, I loved that scene. I can't tell you how much I loved that scene. And like it was even further enhanced by them being like, nobody actually even knows how old Seamus is. But like fairies don't age, or they age like very, very slowly, and Seamus looks old. Yeah. The implication being that Seamus has been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved that. Okay, so yeah, they go back to Deck's place, and they start making out.
Yeah.
And they're both enjoying it, but like very quickly, Galena starts having flashbacks.
Ah, god damn it.
Deck reasons to himself. This is a real Casey move, by the way. Deck reasons to himself that, look, I'm not going to force this on you. I'm not that guy. So we're going to take this slow as you need to take it. We're going to be good. And Galena's like, but just do it. Like she's like, I need to be immortal. I need to get this done. And he's like, well, that's when he tells her it doesn't work. They add in the wrinkle of, you both have to come.
Yeah.
That one's not in the Bible. The world would be a very different place if it was. But yeah, so basically, if it's not good for her, then the bond doesn't happen. So it has to be a bonding experience. That means she can't just grit her teeth and do this, which is a clumsy way of tying her healing of the trauma to the relationship.
Yeah, that's what they have to do.
At this point, I want to take a pause and I want to ask you, what do you think of the theme that having sex with Deck will make her complete, basically? She's going to heal from her trauma.
His magic penis will heal her, both mind, body, and soul.
I was very worried when this book started.
I know you were. You were ahead of me, and you told me.
Yeah, I texted you. I was almost like, well, I thought this would be a fun like revisiting of author we were kind of hard on in the past, and I kind of regretted being hard on and
hard on again. Go on.
Thank you. And so I wanted to give this, a fun review. I wanted to make it fun. I knew it was going to be kind of a silly book, but I wanted to have fun with it and maybe prompt some people to read it. Then I saw where this was going. He has his magical penis is literally going to heal her rape trauma.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I really thought it was going to be that quick. I really was worried it was just going to be like first night, he'll be gentle or something and she'll get through it and it'll be done.
I did not think it would be that quick because I saw that the book still had like 300 pages left.
Well, I didn't know because like Casey and Eli go at it many, many times.
Yeah, but it also took them like a bazillion years to finally, like, a lot of my notes from that book were just fuck already.
I will say I didn't hate the way they did it. I still think it's a bad move to tackle a theme this heavy in a book this stupid.
Yep, I agree with you 100%.
But it could have been worse.
It could have been so much worse that his magic penis would save the day.
Yeah, that wasn't quite how it happened.
She kind of she recovers from the trauma, but like
she makes an effort,
accelerated pace.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Seraphine by day being in, I don't know if she sees patients or whatever, but by day she's some kind of psychologist, psychiatrist or something. Presumably, where I'm going with this is, presumably she knows something about what it takes to heal from that kind of trauma. Like, she knows about EMDR therapy. She knows about all of that stuff.
Right. Probably.
And she knows that's not a quick process, I would hope. It's not something you can bang out in a week if you got a deadline.
I really need this trauma to be over with, so like, can we speed this up?
That's the only thing I don't like, is how quick it goes. But she does hint at some of the things an actual person would actually have to do to heal from this sort of trauma. She just does it at a super accelerated rate and with not trained professionals. And in fact, some of the people that Galena does her healing with are the dumbest people on the planet, Eli. Let's talk about Eli, by the way.
What about Eli?
I know she wants to make Deck and Galena the central figures of this book, and that's fine. But
it doesn't really work.
In the first book, Eli lives for Galena. He is all about Galena's safety. He doesn't want to do anything to jeopardize her career. He is there to protect her. He feels so guilty about not being able to protect her on that night.
Except for right at the end, Ben.
Except for right at the end, yeah.
Yeah, he trades that role.
And he trades it like all the way, right away.
Ben,
no reservations,
Ben,
no going back.
I think here's where your misunderstanding is, okay? You haven't had sex with Casey. And like, let me tell you, goddamn, all right? That shit be on fire, yo.
Oh, gosh.
So if you got to give your sister away to a man that's kind of related to the woman that you're banging in order to bang that woman, you're gonna do it. You're gonna do it in an instant. And then the entire next book, you're gonna continue with that I want to say plot thread, I guess, where you're just going to pop in from time to time to see how things are going, and then you're just going to go fuck off.
Yeah, that was another thing that didn't really fit. I don't believe Eli steps so casually out of Galena's life, because Eli, more than anyone...
Casey and Eli disappear for most of this entire book. After Casey's like, hey, sexual assault victim, have sex with my brother for immortality, she leaves. She leaves for also, like 90% of the middle of the book.
It was really like they couldn't get the actress who played Casey back for this movie. But it's a book.
She had other projects. We got her in for a couple scenes, okay? We have to make the most of the shooting schedule.
It's so weird. I don't know why you would do that. She went way too hard on that. Because it's not even like... there's an easy way to fix that. Give Casey and Eli some busy task where they're working to solve the Moros rogue Kier situation. That's why they can't be here, because they're out doing that. But she just neglects to give them anything to do.
Yeah, they really don't do anything.
They're just not helping. And Eli, more than anyone...
Moros has to go check on his souls, because last book, a Kier went rogue, and that's not supposed to happen. In this book, he's there when Casey proposes that Galena shack up with Deck, and then he leaves for most of the book to go check on his souls? ? Like, is it really that far away? Did he have to go to another planet? He can teleport.
I think he just thought it was an awkward vibe. I don't think he wanted to be
I'm
there.
gonna go check on my souls. Okay, bye, guys.
But Eli, of all people, knows what Galena has gone through and knows that this ritual is not going to be easy for her. And he's just gone. He's just gone.
He shows up occasionally.
Yeah. So the very next morning, I think, Deck gets a call from Ashlyn.
Yes. Okay. I was like, where even are we in the book? Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. The very next morning, Deck gets a call from Ashlyn that Galena is a person of interest in the bombings and the murders of all of her colleagues and coworkers. And she is wanted for questioning downtown. And if they don't go there by noon, they will put out a warrant for Galena's arrest, which BT dubs.
Not how it works. Typically,
It is how it works if you're not the person of interest, but a prime suspect.
Yes, exactly. You are not a person of interest at this point. We're not just asking you questions. Get down here or else, jail.
You're under arrest at this point. Yeah.
Right.
If they're going to put out a warrant for your arrest if you don't show up, you're under arrest. You're not free to go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, this isn't a don't leave town or whatever. This is a get in this jail cell.
I suspect that Ashlyn knew this. Ashlyn thought Deck would pick up on this.
Yeah, because Deck is the chief of a busy EMT.
But he did not.
Not at all.
They're literally making lunch plans.
He's taken completely by surprise.
They're literally like, where do you want to go for coffee after we're done here? So they go down to the station, and very quickly things get out of hand because they have a character who is given a surprising amount of backstory for somebody who is never going to show up again. He is a hard-boiled detective from New York City. He doesn't like the fairies' corruption. He doesn't like how they basically run this town. He believes in the rule of law, and he's going to take them down.
Yeah, he wants to challenge them, and also it's weird that they only run this town when it's like, couldn't they just run the world? They're multi-trillion heirs or whatever.
Buddy, I'm not sure they could run a McDonald's.
Look, I didn't say competently, okay? I didn't say competently.
Well, the problem is they're still trying to pay for everything in gold when most people are like trading chickens and purified water.
Well, yeah. Well, again, they're trying to pay for everything in gold, when it would just be easier to invest that gold into infrastructure. But whatever.
You could literally build the infrastructure out of gold, considering the amount of gold they have.
And because it's a resource that comes straight from either heaven or hell.
And the coins don't bend, by the way. They're not pure gold. They're some sort of alloy.
Well, what if they are heaven or hell gold? It's different.
It is different, actually. Did you know that?
Yes, because gold is very soft and malleable.
No. Like, they have a different thing printed on them. You could tell if the person went to heaven or hell by what kind of coin you get. Oh, lordy. Anyway.
So Galena and the detective. The detective's like, hey, we think you went off the deep end. Here are all these emails to that lab assistant who committed suicide. And we're going to have to go back to something. But first we'll finish this. So that lab assistant who committed suicide, after he planned that bomb in your lab, he was receiving threatening emails from you, Galena. Now, I'm sure anyone could just send emails from your accounts or whatever, but what if I told you the emails were only sent from a computer that you had access to, and also only when you were the one in the lab? Not sure why you're using your work computer to make bomb threats or to threaten your your assistant to make bombs, I guess. But we nailed you. Get into the jail cell. Don't pass go. Don't collect 200 gold coins. Get your ass in that jail cell.
Do you disagree with his analysis of the situation?
No, but it is. I don't like that everyone's like. I think she has started to come unwound, and she just went crazy and became all disheveled. And it's like and went around stabbing people and blowing up apartment buildings.
So that was the interesting thing,
Huh?
is who did the stabbings. That is the gray area there, yeah. Alas, it is Editor Ben here, and I am afraid I must cut the episode there. That's right, Claimed is a two-parter, mostly because of that recap that took so long. But we're going to pause here with Galena having been arrested for the murder of about 17 people. How is she going to get out of this one? Will she become immortal? Who wants her dead this time? These are all questions we're kind of going to answer on the next episode, much as the book kind of answers them. And yeah, I hope you stick around for it. If you want, please go back and check out our previous episodes on Marked. The quality is a little meh, but you know, they're there. They're okay. Some people have told me they're funny. In the meantime, if you want to reach out to us, you can check us out for the time being on Twitter at WABpod, on Instagram at Words About Books Podcast, and we have a blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. You can email us as well if you really, really want to at wordsaboutbookspod@gmail.com. And of course, I cannot forget that we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/WABpod. And I would like to take a moment to thank our $10 yacht plan supporters, Mr. James Teller of If You Want the Gravy movie blog and book blog, and of course, Brad, aka Isekai Sensei Sama of the That Time I Got Reincarnated as an Anime That Time I Got Reincarnated in the same world as an anime podcaster. Boy, it sure would be embarrassing if I were also a co-host of that podcast. But I'm leaving it in. And with that said, I will wish you all a good night and hope that you join us for the next one.
I still think we should petition the ancient Greece to just call it Charon, like char, like fire. Fuck yeah. But go on. All right, we'll play by your rules. So
Play by my rules of saying what actually happened in the book.
yeah,
In the book.
yeah.